Hello and welcome to Inspired Travel. My name is Chloe Kaszewski from onewayjourney.com. In this video, we are going to be looking at depression, loneliness, and Morocco. Now, what have those three things got in common? Not a lot really. However, we're going to be looking at depression and loneliness from a coaching perspective. So just kind of understanding a little bit more about what they actually mean and how they may show up in your life and ways that you can try to work through those feelings at home. We're then going to be looking at Morocco. So as a travel coach, I tend to work with my clients before they actually go traveling on helping them to get into this really empowered place. And then we look at helping them to identify where it is they want to go and what it is they want to do and how to go about booking things and the planning process in whole in its entirety. So in these videos, we just take a couple of different subjects and then look at a place. Now, how do I choose the subjects? So I'm not a tarot reader, but I do use tarot cards. So I shuffle the tarot cards and whichever cards are pulled out, I look at the meaning of them and I choose those as the subject. And then I've got this whole big stack of country cards here. And I shuffle those and pick up a country, and that's where we go. So some of the places that I pick in the countries I may have been to before, some I might not have been to before. It's equally exciting for me either way. So the tarot cards that were drawn were the Eight of Swords and the Hermit card. So for me, these cards represent, the Eight of Swords represents depression, and the Hermit represents loneliness. Now, these cards have other meanings, but these are the meanings that kind of resonated me when I chose them. So, and then the country card was Morocco. Here's a flag in case nobody's seen it before. And I haven't been to Morocco, but I've been wanting to go to Morocco for ages. So when this was pulled out, I was like, yes. And I had already sort of planned a trip before because, like I say, it is somewhere that I have wanted to go for some time now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go teeny tiny in the corner. There we go. Right. So hopefully you can all see my screen now. Oh, look at this lovely blue. Love it. Okay, so let's get started then with understanding what depression is. Now, before I get started, it is very clear that if you think that you are depressed, if you are suffering with depression or clinical depression, I would like to encourage you to go and speak to your doctor to get proper diagnosis and treatment if that is what you need. So just go book an appointment with your doctor and they can assess you and let you know. For most people, there will be various different things throughout your life that affect the way that you feel and can leave you feeling quite depressed. There is a huge difference between being clinically depressed and being depressed because of your situation that is going on around you, where you're at, how you're feeling, how you're thinking. So those things are things that you can work on at home. It's important that you understand the difference between the two, and the best way to do that is to speak with your doctor. So moving on then, looking at depression. So depression affects your emotions, your thinking, behaviours and physical well-being. It impacts each person differently. So if you, as you can see on the screen here, they're kind of broken up into emotions. So some of the emotions can be anxiety, guilt, sadness, anger, mood swings, hopelessness. Now, as human beings, throughout our life, we will experience all of these in many different ways and at many different times. It is naturally a part of the human emotions that we experience. So like I say, anxiety, guilt, sadness, anger, mood swings, hopelessness. It's really important that you can understand the reason behind those. Then we're looking at your thinking. So it could be that you're self-critical, you blame yourself for everything, you worry a lot, you have you start to find yourself feeling quite confused, you may have negative thoughts or even suicidal thoughts. Then we're looking at your behaviours that fall under depression. It could be just crying, isolating yourself from other people, no motivation, no interest in your appearance, and substance abuse is another big one, and self-harm. And then when we're looking at the physical aspects of depression, it could be lack of energy, poor sleep patterns, weight loss or weight gain, over or under eating, any unexplained pain in the body, and loss of sexual desire. Now, you may experience, different ones on here, and we all experience life differently, and throughout our life what we experience. So for example, you may feel sadness, confusion, no motivation and unexplained pain, and then another day you may feel slightly different. You don't have to put yourself into any box. That's not how life works. That's not what being a human is about. So don't try and fit yourself into any box. Just have a think about what it is that you're feeling and what you're going through, and just work on that. So negative views of yourself. Depression often causes a person to see themselves and the world that they live in quite a negative way. You may look at the future as being quite bleak. Some of the words that you may be watching this, and this may be identifying with somebody that you care about, one of your friends or family members. So some words that are quite often used by people who are in a depressed state could be, I am a failure, I've let everybody down, it's all my fault, things will always be bad, I'm worthless, I'm so alone, nothing good ever happens to me and no one loves me. Now, myself personally, there have been multiple times throughout my life where I have gone through a stage of feeling pretty much every one of these and saying out loud every single one of these sentences. If you look at one of these kind of sentences and you see yourself in that you have said those, it's okay. You're not worthless, you're not alone. And although you may be feeling like it at the moment, because I know I did, there are things that you can do to move forward. Okay, so I just want to reassure you of that. There is help out there and you can move forward into a much stronger, fulfilled place. Hope is there. I would just like you to take note of this slide, please. This is for anybody who is requiring any urgent mental support. There are free listening services out there. Like I said, one of the thoughts that's involved in depression could be suicidal thoughts. If that applies to you, please, please, please reach out to somebody. There are a few different ways you can contact the Samaritans. They are an amazing charity. It's absolutely free for you to do so. There is a telephone number there for you, which is 116 123, or you can send them an email, which is joe@samaritans.org. And then you can text Shout to 85258 to contact the Shout crisis line, or text YM if you're under 19. Okay, so some ways to tackle depression. As I said at the beginning of this therapy, at the beginning of this video, it is really important that you see your doctor for diagnosis and treatment. It is really important. A lot of us will self-diagnose ourselves. I am terrible for going on Google and Googling my symptoms and getting all sorts of different diagnoses back. If you are feeling any of the things that we've already been through, please, please, please see your doctor for diagnosis and treatment. A lot of people will use some different treatments alongside whatever it is their doctor's recommended. So these could be talking therapies that help you to express your feelings. So that could be counselling or psychotherapy. You can get into better sleeping habits. Sorry. You can eat healthy foods and drinks, plenty of obviously clean water, which I obviously need right now because I'm starting to cough. Keep a journal and or a gratitude journal. I have a gratitude journal by my bed, and when I'm starting to feel a little bit out of, and I should do it every single day, even when I'm feeling good, but I do fall out of the habit quite quickly. So don't be hard on yourself for not sticking to something. The key is to just get back into it when you can, and try to make a conscious effort to get back into the habit of doing something. So I have a gratitude journal and I fill it in, and it just makes me feel so much better. And I do have to say, gratitude is the fast track way to happiness. I always say that. I do appreciate that if you're feeling depressed, it is very, very difficult for you to find something to be grateful for. There will be something, even if it is your slippers or, you know, your bed or the roof, you know, whatever it is that you have in your life at that moment, you will be able to find something that you're grateful for, but you may have to have a little think about it. Invest in relationships, community, and give back. So when you've got a disconnection from the people around you, that can leave you feeling very, very depressed and very lonely. So if you are disconnected from the people around you, try to invest a bit of your time in, you know, those relationships and friendships. Get involved in the community. I always think that one of the best things for improved mental health is to give back. When you give to somebody else, it's just, you know, from a place where you're not expecting anything back. You know, if you volunteer your time or perhaps you do something nice for somebody else, send them a nice letter, it does make you feel better. It does improve your mental and emotional health. It is an incredible feeling. Also exercising, especially long walks outside in the fresh air, and if you can get in and around nature and by running water, that is, for me, I just think that's an incredible place to be. And also take control of your environment, your home life and your work life, because a lot of the way that we feel could be down to, like I say, go and see a doctor for diagnosis. But if you are just feeling depressed, have a little look at your environment that's around you. I mean, is your home life, what's happening in your home life? Are you surrounded by loved ones? Are you in quite a toxic environment? Do you like the house that you live in or the home that you live in? Is there somewhere else that you know, you're eager to be or that you want to be? And what about your work? Do you enjoy your job? Do you go to work and feel fulfilled? Is it, you know, in line with your life purpose and your life mission? You know, it's really important to look at your surroundings and ask yourself those questions and try and identify what it is that you are unhappy with and what it is that you need to start making changes with. Because if you are trapping yourself in a situation that you don't want to be in, but you're not facing up to the reality of, I don't want to be in this position, but I don't know where to move or how to change things, you know, you are going to start, it's going to start sucking you into that feeling of depression, because I feel like I cannot move. If that is you and you need help, then you need to reach out and ask somebody, you know, a professional, to help you understand and that process and move you through, so that you know what to do in order to move into a different situation. Here's the thing with depression, it is almost like a cycle. Because if you look at this screen at this, this is an individual, this is a person who is, you know, kind of stuck in that that depression and that negative thoughts. When you think things like, I'm not liked, I'm worthless, those are the things that you're actively thinking about, you're thinking them. They then turn into your feelings, which are sad, anger, guilty, lonely. And those feelings then turn into your behaviours, which could be, for example, crying, avoiding people. And those behaviours can then, if left unchecked, move into physical symptoms, which could be things that you're feeling in your body. It could be gut issues, it could be headaches, it could be issues with your periods, for example. If you're a woman, that could mess things up for you. It could come up in any kind of physical symptom. And like I say, everybody's different. And that then goes back into your thoughts. I feel this way, I feel that way. You know, my body's useless. I'm always ill. Nothing ever works out right for me. Here I am back again. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling angry, you know. And then that's coming into your behaviours, and new behaviours are coming in. And it's just this cycle. And of course, with every cycle that keeps going around and round, at some point, this person here needs to break that cycle. They need to actively, this whole thing is internal. This is just within the individual person. No outside person can come in and manipulate this situation. The only person who can make changes is this person here. They need to be the one who breaks the cycle of depression. So some ways that you can start doing this at home, if you grab yourself a pen and paper, this is how am I feeling? Okay, again, I must stress, see your doctor for diagnosis and treatment, or seek professional help from a psychiatrist or a counsellor if you feel like you need it. I am encouraging people to, to reach out to professionals and your doctor and get help there. For everybody else that is kind of ready, maybe you've already seen your doctor and you're looking for some extra ways, or you've been getting professional help before and again you just need some more guidance, then get yourself pen and paper, like I say, and answer some of these questions. So when you are just at home or wherever you are and you're starting to feel really, really down, ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? For example, what am I thinking right now? Well, I'm thinking that I'm worthless. I'm thinking that I'm a stupid person. And then I would like you to ask yourself, why are you thinking this? Why is it that I'm sitting here thinking that I am worthless and I am a stupid person? There is something incredibly powerful about questioning your own thoughts. Because when you question your own thoughts, what you're doing is you are almost kind of asking, well, is this true? This thought of mine, is it a true thought or could it be untrue? Have a think about the facts. Are there any facts attached to this thought, or is it just my opinion? You'll probably be quite interested to realise that most of the time when it's a negative thought, it is just your opinion. And then ask yourself, is paying attention to this particular thought helping me or anybody else right now? Is me thinking that I am worthless and a stupid person, is it helping me? No, it's definitely not, because I feel terrible. Is it helping anybody else? No, nobody else is getting any gain from that whatsoever. So then ask yourself, does this thought inspire me or does it have the opposite effect? Right, I'm worthless. That's not inspiring. It's actually doing the complete opposite of inspiring me. And then ask yourself, is what I'm thinking right now kind? Well, that's definitely not kind. To say to myself that I'm worthless and that I'm a stupid person, I wouldn't say that to somebody else. It's not kind. So then take that thought and just ask, okay, so it's not kind. What would a kinder thought be that I can replace it with? Well, of course, the complete opposite. You're worthwhile and you are intelligent, or you are amazing, or you are incredible. You are human. Whatever feels comfortable for you, but just make sure that the kinder thought is one that inspires you, that is, making you feel better. And here's the thing with the cycle of depression that we kind of spoke about here, that we go along. When you've got thoughts like this, if you change them to I am liked, I am worthwhile, I feel good, I feel empowered, I feel beautiful. And then your behaviours are, I'm doing good things, I'm achieving good things in my life, I'm meeting new people, I'm really sociable, and then the physical symptoms, I feel healthy in my body, I feel great, everything's great, I'm back to my thoughts, I feel great. And and you keep on those thoughts going. But what we have to do is, this cycle of depression is very habitual. It is almost kind of stuck on a loop, if you like, that goes round and round and round. And your subconscious mind has programmed itself to naturally go to those thoughts. So what you need to do is you need to actively jump in and do this every single day until your subconscious mind has reprogrammed itself to believe that these new ways of thinking are, in fact, going to permanently replace this. Now, there will be certain situations where you that you find yourself in that may make you think something different about yourself, because that's just the natural flow of life. Sometimes it's things are going to the good side, sometimes they're going to the not so good side, and that's just the balance of life. We all have to go through that. But when you can actively get yourself in the position where you're able to stop yourself and say, hang on a minute, what is it that I'm thinking right now? Why am I thinking this? Is this true? Or is it just my opinion? Am I just putting myself down? Is paying attention to this thought helping me or anybody else right now? If it's not, what use does it have? Does this thought inspire me? Do I feel inspired? If it doesn't, again, why are you thinking about it? If those things are, you get to the bottom of these questions, and if what I'm thinking around, is it kind? No, it's not kind. You might get to this and say, why am I thinking this? Well, I'm thinking it because it's true. Well, is this thought true? Yes, it is true. I think it's true. Okay, so is paying attention to this thought helping me or somebody else? Yes, it's helping me. Does this thought inspire me? Well, it doesn't inspire me, but I'm still going to think it. Okay, well, is what I'm thinking kind? No. If you've got down there and you haven't already realized, by the time you get to kind, you have to be really honest with yourself. Is it kind? If it's making you feel bad, it's not kind. If you was to say it to somebody else, and humans are empathic, you would know if what you saying that somebody else would be unkind or hurtful. Don't say it to yourself if you wouldn't say it to another person. If it's not making you feel good, just try and retrain your brain. It's hard work. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's not like you wake up one day and you're like, ta-da. It is a process of change. It is that you taking control of yourself, of your mind, and being consciously aware of what you are thinking and what you are doing to yourself. And then, like I say, over time you start strengthening that thought, that I don't like using the word positive thoughts because it's such a cliche, isn't it? Positive thinking, and it just automatically makes you turn that off. But when you start kind of getting rid of that negative way of thinking and replacing it with something that is empowering you and making you feel good and making you feel hopeful, because hope is the thing there. Sometimes when you are in a state of depression, you feel hopeless. If you can ask yourself these questions, eventually you will start moving into a more hopeful place, and you will never jump from here to here and stay there. If you jump so if we were to have here at the very bottom, or like the negative thoughts like hate, anger, sadness, guilt, shame, and then it goes up to feeling more content, empowered, happy, love, joyous, enlightened. And you've kind of got this scale, so you've got the more negative at the bottom, and it kind of goes up and up and up to the most electric emotions that there are, the really great ones. If you jump from the bottom to the top, what's going to happen is you're just going to literally fall straight back down again. You have to go through the process. You have to start going through those feelings and moving up, because you're strengthening yourself as you're climbing that ladder. You're climbing to the top, and you're getting to a place where you feel confident to be up there. You feel like you belong up there. There's nothing worse than jumping from one to the other, and then feeling like you are a pretender, feeling like you don't belong somewhere. It's almost like imposter syndrome. The best way to do it is move slowly through that process, move through those feelings, and really get to know them all until you get to where you need to be to feel empowered. We're going to have a little look at what loneliness is. So for those of you who know me, prior to me going to Panama, I went backpacking through Central America for 6 months, and my first stop was, well, I had 3 months in Panama. Before I went, I was in quite I was quite depressed, I was anxious, and I was extremely lonely. I was in a room full of people, and I knew that people would always say nice things about me, yet I still felt incredibly lonely. And for me, when I pulled these cards out, I kind of felt like this was where I was before I went traveling, before I knew any of what I'm talking to you about now. This is where I was. I was depressed, I was anxious, and I was lonely. So loneliness causes people to feel empty, alone, and unwanted. Now, like I say, there's a difference between being alone and feeling lonely. You can, of course, be alone and feel lonely, or you can feel lonely in a room full of people. Humans crave interaction from other human beings. There are billions of people on this planet. We were not brought here alone. We were supposed to be connecting with other human beings. It's like encoded in our existence to be around other people. Loneliness can leave you unable to form connections due to the state of mind, which can likely be depression, for example. If you are feeling depressed, you are having difficulty being in social situations, you distance yourself because you may feel that you're worthless and you've got, nothing. I feel worthless, nobody wants me around, I'm going to take myself away from the situation. And because you've taken yourself away from the situation because of the way that you think, you've ended up feeling lonely and disconnected from everybody else around you. Loneliness is a personal issue. So that basically means that each person's experience of loneliness is going to be different. Like I say, for me, I was exhausted because I was such an upbeat, bubbly person. Yet I felt so incredibly lonely in social situations. I felt like nobody liked me. I just felt like I just couldn't understand why these people were around me. Like, what were they doing here? And I would try and find a way to sabotage it, or try and find a way to put something on them as to why they were around me, because it couldn't be because I'm a good person and they want to spend time with me. In my head, I was so incredibly lonely that for me, I was pushing people away from me without even realizing that I was doing it. It's also a disconnection from self. Because I was extremely disconnected from myself. I felt like I had no purpose in life. I was completely lost. I had a lot of debt. I had, been through a few very emotionally traumatic experiences that left me really brokenhearted and feeling completely alone. And so I was really disconnected from myself and my life mission, and I didn't have any values of my own to live by. I was just completely disconnected from everything. And that is loneliness. And like I say, it's different for everybody, so it's going to show up differently. But you'll know, if listening to me saying what I've just said, if that kind of resonates with you, then you will know what I'm saying, and you understand that not everybody feels loneliness. Depression and loneliness, they go hand in hand together, but they don't necessarily mean that, just because you're depressed that you feel lonely, and vice versa. Travel is incredible because it helps you to reconnect with yourself, and of course the world around you, in ways that being at home cannot. When I went traveling, I was taken out of my environment. Everybody all knew me in a certain way. they'd always known me to be a certain person. Therefore, I was kind of in this very small bubble that I was unable to move out of. I couldn't be or try anything different because people just wouldn't, people don't allow you to change, and that's not conscious, but you're just expected to be the person that you've always been. And it's really hard for you to take yourself away from an environment to allow yourself to grow and change as you need to when you haven't taken yourself completely away, if that makes sense. So you couldn't just separate yourself now from a group of friends and say, I need a little bit of time to work on myself. I'm going to take myself away. You can't do that because everybody goes, oh, well, what are you doing that for? You've got a problem. What's wrong with you? She's being weird. You know, when you've been traveling and you take yourself away, you come back and you're like, I need to take myself away again. Just to kind of get some clarity around what the next step is for you. So travel helps you when you go traveling, especially when you go on your own. You are allowed to experiment with your thoughts and your feelings and your wants in life. And do I want to, you know, express myself in this way? Do I want to express myself in that way? Because I can, because nobody knows me. It just gives you that chance to, you know, feel the world that you live in and feel yourself and reconnect with yourself. It is incredible. And I feel so passionate talking about it. But traveling to find yourself is, you probably have heard people say this, you know, people go traveling to find themselves. It's not running away. It's just allowing yourself the opportunity to explore a new side of you. You know, it's not uncommon for you to hear somebody say, oh, you know, I need to go away to find myself. It's people have been doing it, you know, for such a long time. I mean, it's incredible. It is, especially when you go with intention. When you go away with intention, it is amazing. Let's have some of my water. Okay, so here we go then. Morocco. Here's the card again. So Morocco is a North African country bordering the Atlantic Ocean and Mediterranean Sea. Da, da, da. Now, so I've done this based around the trip that I would personally do. Now, obviously, your route that you do, you would have to decide where you want to go, where you would be flying in and out of. Now, I would start in Tangier. And the reason I would is because if you haven't already read it yet, there's an incredible book called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. It's called The Alchemist, and it's about a shepherd boy called Santiago who travels from Tarifa in Spain to Tangier, and then he sets off in search of his treasure. So I want to do that. I want to go to Tarifa in Spain and get a ferry across, and that's the way that I want to do it. So I would start off in Tangier. So this is a Moroccan port on the Strait of Gibraltar. So literally just across the strait is Spain. And the city has excellent road and rail connections with Fez, Meknes. Again, sorry guys, if you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I am awful at pronouncing things. I went to Spanish school for a month in Panama, and I was probably the worst student ever. But I tried, and that's what counts. Rabat and Casablanca. Casablanca, I don't know if you've seen the classic black and white movie. I love it, so I'm definitely going to go there. As well as an international airport and regular shipping services to Europe. So some of the places in Tangier, apart from it being the starting place of Santiago's epic adventure, are the Caves of Hercules. You can check out the old city, which you can see here. I think I haven't been there, so I'm guessing. Casbah, which is where I believe the Sultan lived. And then you've got Tangier City Beach. So there is a nice beach there if you wanted to do a bit of sunbathing. But I don't know what the snorkeling's like there, but it's obviously it's quite a nice beach. Then you've got Cap Spartel and the Tangier Grand Mosque. Oh, I thought I had some extra pictures, maybe not. So this is, I put the mosque in here. Look at this mosque here. It looks like a Lego one. I love it. I really want to see that. So this would be my starting place then, Tangier. And then from here, you could go to, oh, I wrote this down. How do I say it? Chefchaouen. Chefchaouen. So you might have seen this on Instagram. It's like every travel Instagrammer's paradise. So it's the blue pearl of Morocco, and it's known for its striking blue washed buildings of its old town. Leather and weaving workshops line its steeped cobbled lanes. Now, there is lots of different kind of, what do you call it? Tales? I don't know if that's the right word. But, you know, like reasons for why all the buildings are blue. And I don't think it's to do with, you know, when you go to like Cinque Terre, all the buildings are done like brightly coloured, or Murano, or is it Burano in Italy? They basically colour all the buildings bright colours because it's a tourist attraction now. And there's a couple of different stories about this. One of them is that it keeps the mosquitoes away. I don't know how true that is. Look at that lovely little cat there. Apparently there's a lot of cats around as well. So some things to do here is get lost in the streets, hiking to the waterfalls of Angkor and God's Bridge, which is up here, look, you can see in this picture. Visit the souk, which is the market, and hike in the Rif Mountains. So if you're a bit of a hiker, I like doing long walks. I wouldn't necessarily call myself a hiker because I'm not that fit, but I would definitely give it a good go. Look, oh, it's so pretty. I really love cobbled, like little cobbled narrow lanes like this. Like any old city that I go to, you know, like in the old city in like Kotor or Dubrovnik, or what's the other one in Montenegro? Budva? Is it called Budva? But I just love these little cobbled narrow lanes. I just think they're so, oh, I don't know, I just get this feeling that I'm just like, you know, in a movie, really, if I'm honest with you. Dreamer. So then next up is Meknes. I would choose to go here next. So this is one of the 4 imperial cities of Morocco, located in the northern central Morocco. Some places that you can see is Bab Mansour. So Habs Kara prison. Apparently this is really eerie. It's an underground prison where they used to chain the prisoners to the walls. Oh. I mean, stuff like that makes me feel horrendous, but also it's part of history. And as vile as some of history has been, it kind of makes me feel humbled that for majority, and I know there's a lot of awful things that are happening in the world, but just how far we've kind of come and how grateful I am. You know, and just history in itself should be respected, no matter what you think, whether it's right or wrong. It should be respected that, you know, it happened. And yeah, it creeps me out a little bit though, underground prison. And then there's my pronunciation is so bad, right? Bu Inania Madrasa. So it's an Islamic school, 1350. Apologies to any Moroccans that are watching this, that may watch this if they ever do, and my awful pronunciation. I do hope to go to Morocco as soon as I can, and hopefully I will be able to pronounce all of these. There's a little bit of a standing joke with when I went to Central America. Obviously I didn't know, I would just see the name Nicaragua, but at the time I didn't know that it was pronounced Nicaragua, and I was pronouncing it Nicaragua. And you know, people that I'd meet would just be laughing and like, say it again, and because I was like, but that's how you say it. Apparently you roll the R. So when I've been to Morocco, I'm gonna nail these words. Might do another video. And of course, you've got the old city, again, love old cities. And the royal stables, which I think I definitely do have a picture on the next slide, I'm sure of it. From here, you can also do trips out to Volubilis. Oh, it's a Roman ruins anyway. Volubilis. That word makes me laugh. I don't know why. Volubilis. That's surely not right. And then Moulay Idris, which is the holiest city of Morocco. So here is Volubilis. Here is the royal. I'm sorry, I've got the giggles now. Here is the royal stables. I believe this is the Moulay. No, I don't know what it is, but they're pretty. It looks nice. The whole point of this is that you go away and you research it yourself and have a look at the places. This is just to kind of get you started on your inspiration, hence inspired travel coaching. It's for you to just take some ideas and then go and do your own research. Because I'm not a travel agent, I am a travel coach. So next up then is Fez. Now, inside the sand-blasted medieval walls of the oldest city in Africa, you'll find narrow streets and alleyways lined with stores and shops. So I believe this is just, from what I can see in pictures, just so many like little tiny narrow roads and alleyways. There's inside the, this is inside the Medina, so like the old city, and there's no cars in there, which I love because I don't really like it when it's really busy with cars and stuff. So you can obviously go in. This is like the entrance, I believe, to the old city, and they've got famous leather tanneries. I think this one's called the Blue Gate. It's got a bit of blue on it. And then the Bab al Amma Gate. Oh, maybe that's the gate. I don't know. When I go, I guess I'll find out. And then, oh, this bit I'm excited about. So next up is Merzouga in the Sahara Desert. So Merzouga is a small Moroccan town in the Sahara Desert near the Algerian border. But here is where you can do a camel safari into the dunes, like literally like this. And you can also do camping in the desert as well. Which I'm not really a camper, if I'm completely honest with you, but that looks quite, that looks like a little bit of a glamping setup in the desert. So I'd be down for that. You can also do a camel safari ride through the desert from Merzouga to Marrakech, which I think I would probably do. Although I don't know. Well, I used to do horse riding when I was younger, and I know how much of a sore bum you can get if you haven't been on an animal like that for a long, long time. So I just don't know how many days it would take. But you know, Santiago did go through the Sahara Desert on a caravan, not like that's what they called the camel. One of these apparently is called a caravan. And if I want to be like Santiago, then I'm going to have to do that. So I'll put some thought into that. Some other places to visit then is, of course, Marrakech, which I would probably fly out from, if I'm honest with you, back to the UK. This is Marrakech here. And then some other places to visit, and I haven't put it on here because I don't want to make this video too long, but write down these areas or do your own research and have a little look at what places stand out to you, because at the end of the day, this is your trip that you do. So this would be mine. But also one thing that I have to kind of point out, and I do in all videos, is just your trip can be as flexible and as fluid as you want it to be. Sometimes what I like to do is, rather than I will have like a basic itinerary of where I'm going to go, but I wouldn't book my like travel and accommodation. Not sometimes I would, depending on where I'm going, but most of the time I would actually leave it quite open, because I know what it's like when you're traveling and you might meet somebody who says I'll go here or go there, or you might hear about somewhere else, and it just gives you that flexibility to really kind of just move as the universe wants you to move. So just bear that in mind when you're planning your trip. You don't have to be so rigid all the time. You can be a bit flexible and book as you go. So another one then is the Todra Gorge, which is a river. Casablanca, like I said earlier, I love the film. If you haven't seen it, watch it, it's brilliant. Agadir, which I believe is like a touristy beachy holiday, and I'm pretty sure one of my friends has been there. And then of course you've got the Atlas Mountains, which you can see here in this picture, for anybody who likes to do some mountain climbing, which isn't really my thing. And then Asilah, which is this place here, which I think looks lovely. It's very Greek, the whitewashed buildings. Apparently there's some beaches there as well, so that does look really nice. But like I say, do your own research, have a little look, go what feels right with you, and be as flexible as you can, because I do think Morocco looks like an incredible place, and I really do want to see go there. I was kind of looking at the safety aspect. Now you should always do your due diligence before you go anywhere, and just check out your local government's kind of advice on traveling to certain countries. I had a look at Morocco, and at this time when I was looking, most places were deemed to be pretty safe. In fact, weirdly enough, the one that was kind of saying that was quite problematic in terms of terrorist attacks was Marrakech. So but again, it's really important that you do those checks first, and you do with what feels comfortable. But you do have to remember that there's things like pickpocketing, theft, things like that you do find in pretty much most places. You find them in pretty much any city in the UK as well, so you just bear that in mind when you are looking at different places. Okay, let me stop this then. I hope you found this video interesting. Like I say, if you are finding yourself feeling depressed and you are, it's overwhelming you and taking over your life, then please see your doctor. Get treatment and a diagnosis from your professional healthcare provider. But those questions that I've put in there are really beneficial to help you to start regaining control of the way that you're feeling. And then obviously, if you wanted to have a one-to-one session with me, if travel coaching is something that you're interested in doing, please bear in mind that with travel coaching, it is with the intention to go traveling. So it's a combination of coaching, for you where you're at in your life and moving forward, and then helping you to plan your trip. I don't book anything for you, I don't influence you, I'm not consultant. This is all you. I just help you to achieve that particular goal in the way that you want the outcome to be. So if I can do anything to help you, please let me know. Visit my website, which is www.onemyjourney.com. I hope you have found this useful. I hope you have a fabulous day. All the best. Thanks for watching.